From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on
It's a big noontime here on Lalate with incredible great details about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check that may be giving you more months of checks. And then we go over the reconciliation process and why that reconciliation for fourth recon may be and will be giving you other sums of money and what those other sums of money are. It's incredible great news. Then we go over the vote, the bill, the drafting, and the finalization, Chuck Schumer's statement on Friday, everything you need to know about July 4th, July 15th across the board. And then we turn to fish stimulus as the commissioner of the Social Security Administration fired on Friday as well. Commissioner saw out. So does that impact your fish stimulus being raised up under fish? Does that impact your benefits raised up under fish stimulus? I'll explain the details. And then we cut to the big money that viewers continue to get. Tens of thousands of dollars. It's your day to get this big money. It's a big noontime. I'm excited you're here. And away we go on a big noontime starting right now. Hey, good noontime, everybody. How you doing? It's finally cooling down here in Santa Monica, California. I'm happy. Finally cooling down. But how's the weather where you are? Jump in the live chat right now and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today, we have a lot of breaking news. We'll be going over first that monthly stimulus check and why there will be more potential months of checks. Then we'll go to the fourth stimulus recon and why there will be potentially a lot other sums of money in there for you. And then we go over the vote, the bill, the drafting, the dates, everything you need to know. And what did Chuck Schumer say on Friday? All incredible great news. Then we cut to fish stimulus as Commissioner Saul is fired at a Social Security Administration. Does that impact your lift of benefits under fish stimulus? I'll explain. And then we go to the big money the viewers continue to get. Tens of thousands of dollars. Last night, every viewer in the live chat was reporting $12,000 to $13,000 of rent by themselves or with a volunteer helping with them. And this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. You're currently watching Noontime, live on air direct from Santa Monica. Coming up next is Afternoons Lalate at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, followed by Evenings Lalate. Then Overnight's Crypto, Evenings Crypto, and then Sirloin at 8 o'clock. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. I want you part of this family. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The member link is underneath the video. Let's get right into that. Fourth stimulus check updated 2021 right now, starting with the House bill and the number of checks at issue. Well, that number of checks at issue is getting quite fascinating because when we look at the number of checks, suddenly there's questions about how many may actually get sent out. House bill, pandemic plus 1 year. That's pandemic plus 1 year, monthly. Senate, July to December. Let's go to the payouts. House, $1,000. After first month, $2,000. Senate amount unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow, now that's deliciousness. That's per person. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. But why is the number of checks potentially changing? Because of the pandemic. It was 2 weeks ago that we thought that the pandemic may be over for legislative purposes. But then LA started the trend and said, hey, I don't think the pandemic's over. Then Warren Buffett said the same thing. Then the airline said the same thing. And then finally, it all hit very hard last week. Japan going on a state of emergency as Delta's expanding, ending in spectator viewing of the Olympics. Midwest states like Missouri had 80% capacity of ICU beds because of the pandemic. If that's the case, then the House bill would potentially give the full pandemic plus 1 year checks, which would be certainly more than 12 checks, would be more than $13,000. So compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate, tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. That's why you guys see with this channel. Things are changing by the second. My opinion has changed. I want to see if yours has changed as well. Jump in the live chat. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? The Democrats represent everyone who got their third stimulus check will get a fourth. Single individual, 75,000 less. The Democrats represent you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 less. The Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, Democrats represent you would get a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. The fourth stimulus check is not a different amount for every person. It's the same across the board. It's not taxable also. And the fourth stimulus check would come monthly. It would not come in waves. So if you are at the piñata shop today and you see the check waving at the piñata with a bat, and suddenly the piñata is waving at you, hey, check, watch that bat. Unless that piñata actually has some checks in there. Then you just sort of have to check aim a little bit harder. The piñata would not be coming in the month of July for the month of July, but checks would, at least those Democrats represent, unless we may bring our piñata. The Democrats represent you get a monthly check in the month of August for the month of August. And Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi had represented that final vote would be by July 4th of the recon. So what happened? I'll be explaining those details in the final 15 minutes of this video. Stay to the final 15. It'll explain Chuck Schumer's letter from Friday, the breaking news about that, the vote, the bill, the drafting, the dates, the July 4th, the July 5th, the bipartisan writing, everything you've been asking, all coming up in the final 15 of this video. But first, here's a preview of the second part of this video. It's Commissioner Saul fired on Friday from Social Security Administration. Does that impact the raising up of your benefits under fifth stimulus? I'll explain those details coming up later. But first, let's get some money. That's what this channel does. In March of 2020, people were not getting money. They were not getting their EIDL grants, and they were not getting their EIDL loans. So I started this channel not to track your EIDL grant, because it wasn't coming. I started this channel to get your EIDL grant and loan. And I got $25 million of them. In the fall of 2020, viewers were not getting second stimulus because it was not law yet. So I stepped forward and I got viewers $250,000 of rent. Like Tyrone paid all his bills all the way to next year. You are doing the same, but 1,000% better than I've ever seen on this channel, and I really got to applaud you. You have been really doing incredible work. Get in the live chat right now and post your comments right now. The rent you got, post it. The utilities you got it, post it. The SNAP you got, post it right now. Here's what's going on. If you saw evenings in LA and overnights and afternoons in LA last night at 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, boy, rent, I've been saying about $5,000 for rent. I can get you 46 months of rent. Viewers are getting $13,000 for rent, $12,000 a person. Nisi got $20,000 for this channel for rent. Then I said for utilities, a couple $100. Viewers are getting $3,000 last night on the late night shows for rent. SNAP, I said $5,000 to $6,000. I saw a couple of viewers get $5,000 to $7,000. Now viewers are getting a lot more. John got $12,000 for SNAP. What's going on? Get that pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how you get money for this channel, because this is what this channel does. Don't matter what the money is. Who cares what it's called? So long as it's money, it alleviates bills in the household. Get that pen and paper ready. We're going to reach out to different places. Each has their own eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Are you ready? You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like Kansas City red. We don't know that. This is cardinal red. Thank you. Thank you, Canute. Muddled red. We don't know that word. Teal red. Range of red. Range of options. No, we don't know these words. Murdered red. Oh, we absolutely don't know that red. That expression. So don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or those words, because they won't know what you're talking about. And congratulations to Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful pot of money. The next pot of the money is coming back from your SNAP. Oh, SNAP has been wonderful. Last night, the numbers were incredible. But John got $12,000 for SNAP. What is SNAP? It is money for food. Eligibility for a SNAP is lower than a stimulus check. So if you qualify for a stimulus check, why would you not be on SNAP? Why would you be paying for your own food when the federal government could be paying for your food? And instead of paying $12,000 a year on food, you would now have an extra $12,000 in the bank. Why would you not get SNAP? So let's go over. This is funny money for food you get from the Department of Agriculture. And how much can you get? A fortune. Family of four in Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow, why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. Len Glenn got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it. Tim and Linda got the money for rent, and you're killing it. I'm killing it. We're only 10 minutes into this video, and you have gotten $12,000, John, for SNAP, and Nisi $20,000 for rent. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. Post the snap you got in the live chat. If you're in the live chat, post the money you got, because every time you post money you got, three things happen. One, you inspire someone who hasn't gotten money to go get it. They realize, oh, there's 4 people right next to me in the chat that's got it. I'm going to go get it. Number 2, you inspire someone who got something else to get this. For example, Art Sullivan got 3 items, but some viewers have only gotten 1 item. So you may see someone get another item. You're like, oh, I got to get that item too. And then finally, you update me as well, because suddenly I see these big numbers. I was saying $5,000 for rent. I was wrong. Bigger numbers. And the next pot of money is the money coming back from the states. The states have been ordered to return the refund check back to you due to computer error of unemployment benefits. One viewer got $3,000 on this 2 nights ago. Another viewer got $5,000. Where? Direct deposit. When? Reach out to your Spectre State and say, hey, state, where's that refund check due to overpayment of unemployment benefits due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer this time that actually works? And finally, your most wonderful pot of money, it is the refund check back for that unemployment benefits. You got this as well. Jump in the live chat. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. How much is it? Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of total taxes, but $4,000 of taxes on the unemployment, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, set up a username and password, do a transcript search. And it'll reveal stuff that you never knew. It'll reveal some stuff you sort of don't want to know. You wish you never knew. It'll reveal the taxes on your file, the taxes you pay. It'll reveal whether the teal princess lives in a teal mansion. It'll reveal when we're on the range of options, is there a range or are we standing in place? And then finally, it'll reveal the wonderful refund check you're getting back from IRS. There you go. Can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, starting right now. We're going to go over the recon now, and those other sums of money and what's going on. What's going on is 3 weeks ago, we had a big recon that had roads and bridges in there. And Nancy and Chuck and President and Jalopolak pulled their Democratic caucus and said, hey, you want to vote for this? Oh, no, I'm not voting for that thing. It's too big. So 2 Wednesdays ago, they took roads and bridges out of it, shrunk the recon to a much smaller, and that became then passable. What does passable mean? I mean, if they ask those same people in the Democrats, hey, will you vote for it? Yeah, now I will. We have confirmation from even the GOP about this. The GOP had a beautiful op-ed written a few days ago where a person wrote, the higher the price number was on the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go. By allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put in the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon now passable. Sorry to set you up, Mitch. I'm so sorry. it's way of fault. The GOP had nothing to gain by blessing of the bipartisan because it now made the recon passable. Wow. That's the first one. Number 2, now that the recon had been shrunk by taking out roads and bridges, they could put a little bit more in there. And what are they putting in there? More progressive monies for you. Now, understand recon is all money for you, but they're adding more monies in there, and they confirm it in a series of statements. Number 1, Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat out of Minnesota, saying, we have the commitment that regardless of what happens with the bipartisan legislation, Congress will give us a recon that goes as far as we want it. There you go. And then we have Representative Richie Torres, who confirms it, and it confirms he's put in housing. Housing? More about that in a second. I will refuse to vote for any bipartisan unless it's linked to a larger recon. There you go. And then we have the Progressive Caucus reportedly meeting with the President daily to go over what they want to have added in there. Why can they add this in there? Because the recon is protected by Jalopol and the Progressives. Jalopol confirmed that in a statement 2 weeks ago, approximately. And Senator Brian Schatz said the President considers the progressive priorities in the recon his priorities. Here's what you need to know about what's going on. What is a recon? How is it getting written on? Who doesn't? And how can it be modified? A recon stands for reconciliation. It's a bill that's being written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. Everything that's in the recon is money for the American people. There's nothing for other stuff. And so what is in the recon? Well, you're going to see in a second that subcommittee members who are writing it say that they have put a monthly stimulus check in there. Next, the president says he's putting money in there for children, for climate, for medicine, for seniors, and for electric vehicles. Third, how does the recon actually get written? It gets written by the members of subcommittees. The House subcommittees are the lead authors of the fourth stimulus recon. The Senate subcommittee members are also part of the discussion. But each subcommittee of the House is delegated a different subject under the Constitution. So certain House members, certain subcommittees have different subjects. The House Ways and Means is responsible for stimulus checks and unemployment. How does this work? Well, under the Constitution, there's no constitutional requirement that those House subcommittees tell you what they're doing. They don't have to tell you how much they wrote or what they didn't write or what they did write or what they voted on or what they didn't vote on. When they're done, what happens? What happens is that all these subcommittees, let's say there's 10, for example, have 10 parts of a final bill, and all they do is send them over to Nancy, and they're combined, and the one bill is done. Done. So everything may be done already, but it just needs to be combined. Here's what you need to know, is that those subcommittee members should, can, and absolutely must add certain things into that recon if they're not in there. Last Thursday, the new jobless claims number was released, and it was horrible. Jobless claims number refers to people who were employed in 2020 with a job, had that job all last year, had that job all this year, but showed up to work for that job last week, and bam, the boss said, sorry, I got to lay you off. I'm so sorry about it. And that's what's called new jobless claims. And the number was absolutely out of control. 373,000 up from the estimate of 350. It's a bad number. This is a bad number signaling we need to have more unemployment benefits. PUA, FPUC, PEUC all need to get extended or reactivated under fourth stimulus because the economy's not rebounding as thought. We also had other economic data on Thursday said that a Wall Street analyst thought that the recovery is not fully there yet, and that we may be reverting, and then the interest rates fell because they thought that the growth may be slowing down and shorting up. So you need those other items. They could also put in things like they have put in stuff like housing, as Ricky Torres represents, but they should certainly put in rent eviction moratorium, a mortgage forbearance, or rent relief money, things like that. How about student loan debt forgiveness? Remember, there's members of the subcommittee you're going to see later in this video who represent they're putting monthly stimulus checks in there. But for everything they can add in there, there's something they can always take out. So you always have to push purple power. This is not a donut channel where we hold up the donut and say, hey, what day am I getting my fourth stimulus check in my bank account? They could change their opinion and their mindset in just 2 hours and suddenly take something out and put it in, or put it in and take it out. So we got to push. But how do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by Jalapal, who had written Schumer a letter saying, Chuck, call the vote. Call the vote on the recon. Now, that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats among the 100 plus, you heard right, who wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to put monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, now that's good. Can we top that news? We can. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee, there you go, there they are again, wrote the president a letter saying we're going to do monthly stimulus checks when we write the fourth stimulus recon. Wow. Now, this is huge because they're on the subcommittee, again, as I just detailed to you, that does this. They wrote your third stimulus recon check. They represent they're writing your fourth stimulus recon check monthly. And they represent they're doing your fifth stimulus recon check later this year for next year. More about that coming up in a second. They also wrote your first and second stimulus check as well. Wow, can we tap that? We can, as the President of the United States got it official just hours ago. What happened was the global minimum corporate tax rate, which he signed in a ceremonial pageantry signature 3 weeks ago, became official now. This is huge because it anchors fourth stimulus recon to the edge of the finish line. Why? Number one, you don't need this provision about international corporate taxes in the fourth stimulus recon. It's in the international agreement. It makes it easier to write the fourth stimulus recon, makes it easier to call the vote, makes it easier to vote on it, and makes it easier to pass it. Wow, can we top that? We can. As we go into the final big 15 minutes, you got to stay with me. The final 15 minutes of this video, which goes over everything you've been asking about for fourth recon and bipartisan bill, the bills, the votes, the dates, the drafting, the steps, and everything that's happening and what's happening this week as well. We also go to fifth stimulus, and we'll go over that firing Commissioner Saul doesn't impact the raising up your benefits lifetime. But something more wonderful is the volunteers. Yes, you saw early in this video that last night's evenings LA, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time nightly, and yesterday's afternoons LA, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time nightly afternoons. There were viewers in the live chat saying, thank you, volunteer. This volunteer got me $13,000 for rent. This volunteer got me $11,000 for rent. If you've had problems finding the rent, the utilities, the SNAP, the internet yourself, don't worry. I got your back. The volunteers have your back. Where are they? They're on the community page. Go down the description and find emoji of a house. Next to that emoji of a house is a link to the community page. On the community page are a series of volunteers. Below a picture of some kitty cats. They're not the volunteers. They're just kitty cats. Below the kitty cats are the volunteers. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They can help you get that big money for rent, utilities, internet, because you deserve it. You should be financially independent because your bills are being paid for under third stimulus where the money was dedicated for. Why would you not get the money that's for you? So consider reaching out to them. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with the big exciting details still unfolding in the final 15 about fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Home LA returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LA. It's a big noontime with exciting details still unfolding about your fourth stimulus and fifth stimulus. And a lot of breaking news that you need to know for this new week. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. It also delivers a sign of turmeric. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. The link is under the chat or also under the video where it says join now. Let's go right into that fifth stimulus starting right now. Also tune in to Afternoons LA for 3 p.m. and Evenings LA at 5. Big shows tonight. Oh boy. So here we go. This stimulus had a big surprise. When Commissioner Saul, the head of Social Security, was fired on Friday, does that impact the raising up of your benefits under fifth stimulus? I'll explain the details for you right now. Under fifth stimulus, they'll be raising up your benefits, then removing the asset limit, then applying the inflationary benchmark, removing the marriage penalty, and removing the income exclusion. So does the president's firing of Commissioner Saul impact that? Answer, no, it doesn't. Because Commissioner Saul has nothing to do with that type of money. He doesn't send it out. He doesn't have authority to create the law to send it out. He can send it out when ordered to by act of Congress. But the only people who can make that a law is Congress. Now, does the president's ordering of this firing of Commissioner Saul have anything to do with this? No, because here's what's ironic about the situation. The provisions we just talked about for fifth stimulus for raising your benefits up under SSI and SSDI and VA is not coming from the president directly. Remember, the president doesn't write laws. He's the president. This is coming from Congress. What did they say? Well, they wrote that, Mr. President, you promised us while running for president, you didn't deliver it yet. And then in the transition papers, you promised it again, and you didn't deliver it again. So we're taking care of it by putting it into fifth stimulus. Wow. So very fascinating. Again, not impacted by Commissioner Saul's firing. He vows to actually block the firing. So we'll see how this plays out over the next week or so. Fifth stimulus, of course, will also have another stimulus check. That will be for next year. Will not overlap with fourth. It will be written by the same people writing your fourth stimulus check, the recon team of the House Ways and Means. And then the president is dedicating $1 billion to Social Security Administration to ensure your checks go out on time going forward, including your monthly checks. Finally, if you're missing the first, second, or third stimulus check, you must file a tax return. And in that tax return, you must request that missing stimulus check. It's actually a line on the tax return. There's no way around it. There's no excuses to it. That is the only way it's required by IRS. And if you have not done it, go to a tax preparer. They'll help you do that for you. So how does this benefits raise work then in view of what happened on Thursday? Well, on Thursday, the inflation rate went like this. It was like, what's going on here? On Thursday, the 10-year Treasury note fell 1.25%. To 1.25% fell. Fell. That's a huge drop. This signaled concerns that inflation was not there, that we go going this way. And that was amongst a lot of worries on Wall Street that growth may be curbing. That we saw growth slowing in China in June, and there was worries that our growth was slowing as well in June. So what is my opinion of the situation? I'm going to stay with Jay Powell. Head of the Federal Reserve, Jay Powell, says that the inflation rate will go up, and it'll go up to its highest point of the year in December. I'm going to stay with that. Now, what is that inflation rate? Well, an interesting details. A new report out today says that housing starts and sales are up so much that they alone, just the housing market, account for a 2% rise of inflation. Again, just the housing impact on this economy will raise inflation. It's a 2%. Well, that's not 5% inflation by the end of the year, folks. That looks like a lot big number. So let's go back to that 10%. If that's the case, your benefits will be raised up one time. Whose benefits? Yours, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits. Then they'll apply that benchmark. And let's say it's 10%. That will raise your benefits up another 10%. Wow. And that is not just next year, it's lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. Then they're going to move the asset cap down back to a 1980s law that says you can have more than $3,000 on hand. They're going to move the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and also receive benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. No longer fear loss of benefits and no longer be denied benefits. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married, no longer fear the marriage penalty. So there you go. If you're watching this video and you're wondering, how are all those people in the live chat with that purple hawk emoji next to their name? How did they get that? And why are they suddenly getting all this big sums of money and I'm not getting any? Well, consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat, pinned comment under the video where it says join here. By joining as a member, you get access from me personally, sent to you daily, of the big money under third stimulus. Third stimulus had a $14 stimulus check. But it also had $14,000 at least for viewers of this channel, many of the viewers of this channel. And that's what I said to viewers. I'm going to get you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on the third stimulus because it's there. It's there for you to get. It's application based. And viewers have learned quickly that, yeah, a nice $14 stimulus check is cute in January. But how about tens of thousands of dollars? That's what they're doing. So consider becoming a member and join right now so you get those details. And right there, exactly on the 30-minute mark, is the final 15 minutes of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 starting right now. Let's start with the July 4th. Why did they not get the vote done by July 4th? Well, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer said over 1,000 times, that the final vote on the recon will be by July 4th. Not on, but before July 4th. And for the recon, the final vote. Why did that not happen? When they had said that, comment 1,000 times. The recon was the original big recon, the big one, when it had roads and bridges in there. They had pulled the Democrat caucus and they said, no, we're not passing it. It's too big. So it was not passable. To which I would say, but wait a second. The day in which you split the recon and shrunk the recon by creating the bipartisan, taking out roads and bridges, was 2 Wednesdays ago. 2 Wednesdays ago was before 4th of July weekend. So then what happened? Why not call the vote on the recon then by July 4th? Well, the issue was that there was a series of Democrats who said, you have to call the 4th stimulus recon and the bipartisan together. Now, here's the issue. Democrats and conservatives both agree. You have to call the recon before or concurrently with the bipartisan. Can't call it after. If you call it after, it doesn't pass. So the recon, we've been told by Democrats, is effectively written or close to being finished to being written. So why not call the vote for the recon before July 4th? Because there was enough Democrats who said, no, because we want the bipartisan to be called shortly thereafter. Well, how shortly thereafter? It's about roads and bridges. They've been crumbling for 50 years. They can wait till October. Let's just call the recon now in July and get the bipartisan in October. Those Democrats said no, it has to be close in time. How close in time? A couple of days, within the week. Oh, okay. To which I would say, okay, so is that bipartisan ready to be written? No. What? Yeah, this was a shocker. Unbeknownst to any of us, the bipartisan had not been written to a finale. What's going on here? The president met with Shelley Moore Capito for a month in the month of June, the GOP negotiator, and every time she came, she didn't come with a bill. She didn't come with a piece of paper or pen, nor did the president. And so when those negotiations fell apart, there was actually no bill. Then he met with the bipartisan group and ultimately struck a deal 2 Wednesdays ago. But in striking a deal, he did not have a bill. They did not have a bill. They didn't have a proposal. No one had anything written up. Oh, wow. Then I look at the calendar again. I say, but wait a second. That was 2.5 weeks ago. The 2 Wednesdays ago was 2.5 weeks ago. What have you done since then? And why weren't you writing before you got the agreement? Which brings us to unexplainable, inexcusable actions. There's no excuse for this. This is what we talked about in 2020 called #WriteTheBill. Write the bill. It is unexcusable that Democrats and conservatives elected to Congress for the purposes of writing bills. That's what they're there to do. Write bills, paid with our salary, paid with our taxes, getting a very nice, 6-figure salary with a beautiful office to write bills, have not written a bill in 2.5 weeks, not finished writing the bill, didn't start it, until after you had a gentleman's agreement. Not acceptable. So you have to go on social media, Purple Power, and push #WriteTheBill. Write the bill. Number 2, how about those dates? July 4th, July 5th, July 15th, 14th. Okay. Well, we just went over July 4th. There is only one other date that some viewers are asking, and my other subscribers, I love you to death, have been answering the questions. July 15th has nothing to do with this video. This video is about 4th stimulus. July 15th is about 3rd stimulus for the children. And then there's some people that are still asking, yeah, I know it's for the children, but can't they do ours together? No. They can't do it together. July 15th is for the children, and it's 3rd stimulus. This is 4th stimulus, and one has nothing to do with the other. Next, the vote. During the commercial break, one viewer asked a question. I don't want to say the name because the question's a little bit sort of obvious. But the question was, can the president just order Treasury to send out checks? Yeah, in a dictatorship he can. Not in a democracy. The ordering of sending out money from the Department of Treasury requires an act of Congress. It's sort of what you do in a democracy. If that was so easy, then the president could just, send me some $12 ice cream right now. Hey, Mr. President, could you just write me a check for some $12 ice cream? Can't do that. So to pass laws in the country, at least in this democracy, requires the House, the Senate, and the President to do 3 things: vote, and sign. Now, here is where Chuck Schumer is saving time. In saving time, Chuck Schumer is doing the following. Normally, bills start in subcommittees. They start in the House subcommittee or the Senate subcommittee. And then when they get to the other branch of Congress, they go back into another subcommittee. So a bill will start, let's say, in the House subcommittee, out of the House, to the floor, over to the Senate, back into a subcommittee, out of the subcommittee, up to the Senate floor. Chuck is saving time by saying, no, I'll just have the subcommittees work together because we're one and the same, we're the same party. So there is no double dipping in subcommittees. How many steps, how many bills, how many votes? Let's go over the details. We have 3 bills. The bills are reconciliation procedural, reconciliation substantive, reconciliation, and then bipartisan. So there you go. 3 bills: recon procedural, recon substantive, and bipartisan. How many voting steps, or how many steps? 4 times 3, 12. Senate floor, Senate subcommittee, Senate floor. House, President, times 3. There's no way to cut corners on it. It's required under the Constitution. It does not take 12 days. They can shorten the number of days. But those are the 12 steps they have to do. Ultimately, this is why it's so important to get that bipartisan written. Next, it's important for you to know that it's very, very, very easy to modify a recon to add existing laws for more weeks. What am I talking about? If you're watching this video and you want PUA, FPUC, PEUC, in-force stimulus recon, then what you need to do is reach out to those Democrats and say, hey, get it in there. Because guess what? It's very easy to get it in there. How easy? About 1 sentence. Under the first stimulus package, the CARES Act 1 of 2020, they established these programs. To write that bill, it was thousands of pages. But when they say, I want to do it again for 10 more weeks, I want to do it again for 12 more weeks, all they have to do is write the sentence. As to the 2020 CARES Act, we extend FPUC for another week. We extend it for another 5 more weeks. Done. Period. Whether it's extending or reactivating, whatever the words are, it's very easy. So they can put something in very quickly. Unemployment, eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, rent aid, all these things have been written up before. The adding them in there again is very easy, much like the adding in there of a stimulus check. Student loan debt forgiveness takes a little bit more time because it's not been written up before. Next, what did Chuck Schumer say? Chuck Schumer said on Friday, I'm going to ask, members of Congress should be, or members of the Senate, should be ready to stay in town and work some more hours. Okay, what is my opinion of this? Well, again, this is why you want to tune into this channel. I told you he was going to say this over the last few weeks, but in a different version. Under the Constitution, the President, the Speaker of the House, and the Leader of the Senate can call any members of Congress back in session for a vote at any time. Nancy did that in 2020 with Louis DeJoy, the Postmaster General. I covered this 1,000 times in 2020. But what's going on here? Well, it's interesting because when you say you call someone back into town to vote, there's still some work on stuff when you call them back into town. It's not like you get off the plane, you just vote, and you get back on the plane. They're still working. But I like Chuck's statement because it goes a little bit further than that. He's not saying, get ready to be flying back into town to vote. He's basically saying, stay in town, and I'm going to have you work a little bit. I'm going to have you work more. I like it. What I don't particularly like about it, it's a little bit vague, and it's a little bit obvious. So some viewers were just sort of very excited about the statement, and my reaction was, well, what was he going to say? I mean, if he said nothing, would be horrible. And if he said the reverse, he'd be thrown out of government. So if he said nothing, what were we going to sit back and say? So they're supposed to go on vacation and go sip Mai Tais in their villas, and then when they walk outside, don't trip on over the homeless you didn't take care of while you're on break. It didn't make sense. So he had to say something. So I don't read too much into the excitement some people have about his statement. Now, here's what you need to know is that Congress and the president looks at economic data morning, noon, and night. And it's important for you to do the same. A week ago, the president did a victory lap when the job creation number came out. It was a good number. He said, hey, we're doing great. We're recovering. The economy's great. Trust me. The president saw this jobs number last Thursday. It was horrible. Trust me, Bernie and Elizabeth and Chuck and Nancy all saw this jobs number. It was horrible. The president, Janet Yellen, everyone in the White House, like me, says that stimulus is based upon unemployment numbers. If unemployment numbers are bad, you need more stimulus. Here's your opportunity, Purple Power, to really push. We have these times where economic numbers are good and they work against us because people may say, oh, the economy's recovering, you don't need it. Now the economic numbers are bad again. So you use this opportunity and push because these numbers are bad. The White House also looks at other economic factors to determine how far they can go. And those other economic factors are corporate earnings, which start this week. And those corporate earnings will give us a signal of three possibilities. Number one, they're good. If they're good, that's a wash because they're expected to be good. If they're really good, if they're wonderful, that would be working against us because then you say, they're too good. Yeah, that's a little bothersome. Maybe we don't need stuff. And then if they're bad, it helps us a lot. Well, what should we anticipate? Here's a preview for this week. Tuesday, PepsiCo, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs report earnings. Jim Cramer says PepsiCo will have great numbers, but they also have to talk about their raw costs going up. Middle of the week may be the big one for purposes of stimulus because while it's banks, it's also Delta Airlines. And Cramer says, I want to know how much damage the Delta variant has done to Delta. We also need to know if business travelers are finally coming back. I don't think they're coming back. There's a lot of analyst reports said the business travel has not come back. If they've not come back, that's a big reason to understand the economic recovery is not there and we need more stimulus. And finally, the end of the week is some of the healthcare companies. Really fascinating. Finally, what's important to understand, Purple Power, is you need to push. You need to push. It's not a time or place to be a donut guy. Tell me what day the stimulus check is landing in my bank account. No, because it's important to understand you got to push. These are legislators. They are still in the legislative process. Until it's law, things can get modified. Things can be added in. Things can be taken away. Things can be made bigger. Things can be made smaller. Things can be moved over here and moved over there. You want to push because you want to ensure that everything they promised they would give you comes to fruition. And you need to push by going on social media. You've been doing a great job. Do more of it. Push Purple Power by calling your elected officials, Democrats, and saying to them why you need something. Saying to them as a statement why you need something. Don't call up with a question like, where is my check? Call up and say, I think we, the American people, need monthly stimulus checks because Democratic senators, your progressive leaders, the Progressive Caucus, Jalapal and its leaders. Also, social media always really helps. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram as well. Where we're going is we're going to see a lot of economic data over the next few days. And trust me, we're just getting sort of the edges of Delta. We're just sort of seeing the edges of Delta. This economic data I'm delivering you here is not Delta-ish economic data. When Delta becomes part of the economic makeup of where this data is going, if it goes south, it will help you a lot. We are of the benefit that timing seems to be working for us as to where this bad economic data is coming right when they're getting to that finish line. And with that, I look forward to seeing you next on Afternoons LA. It's coming up at 3 o'clock, followed by Evenings LA. 2 big shows tonight. Don't miss either one. I want to see you on both of those shows. I'll be in the live chats with you as well. Then we go into Overnight's Crypto. A lot of surprises with crypto today. Then Evening's Crypto. And then Sirloin is back at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time nightly. And then we go into our overnight shows. So subscribe. At 400,000 subscribers for a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like the video. Every like helps. It also improves the algorithm rankings, and it also delivers a sign of some salary. And consider becoming a member so you learn about all the big money you get. I want you to get this $10,000, $20,000 right away. Because money is money. It alleviates financial burden on the household. It pays bills, and paying bills is how you get financial independence during this pandemic. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful noontime. I'll see you next on Afternoons LA.